My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Alright, so since some of you are okay of me sharing how I prep some of my food, so I took some pictures this past week and I have some pictures, so I said let me put this video together and just show you different ways I eat cabbage and different way I could prepare it and different ways I could eat it. So this first picture here is showing you I cut some onions, peppers, jalapeno and all sort of stuff to put in there. And that I also put cabbage and some lime. You don't see it, but there's some lime in it, and I mix it with salt, pepper, and adobo. That's my go-to seasoning. So I put that in there, and then sometimes I fill it up all the way to the top, and then cover it, put it in the fridge. Whenever I need to eat some snack or something like that, I'll eat that just like that, with nothing, raw, without anything. All right, and there are some pictures of some of the other things that I put in there. There's the onions I cut with the cabbage and all of that. And this picture is a stir-fry cabbage. I put all sort of stuff in there and I stir fry it halfway, not too much because I don't like it when it's too soft. It has to be somewhat a little bit hard for me to eat it, to enjoy it. If it's too soft, it makes me want to throw up. All right, so this is stir-fry cabbage. And this is ramen noodle. This one is a very spicy ramen noodles. Sometimes when I make it, I throw in all sort of the same thing, the cabbage, all the stuff that I showed you before is thrown in there. And this time I was having that and I threw 2 eggs in and I ate that. And there's some other kind of greens in there and I mix it. Sometimes when I'm telling you this is the way that I eat my ramen noodles, this is an example. I had the picture, so I'm showing it to you. And this is I made yesterday. All right, so and this portion is the stir-fry cabbage. This is stir-fry mixed vegetable, and this one I was gonna have it with a wrap. So it's the vegetable, mixed vegetable. That's this over here, the mixed vegetable, the stir-fry cabbage, and there's some quinoa at the bottom. And this, since I was there, I cut it, leave it for during the week. If I want to eat it raw like that, and I could take some portion out, put some lime, pepper, salt, and just eat it raw like that, depending on how I feel. So my week meal is ready. Alright, so all the hard thing is done. This is all my food for this week. If the kids wants to eat it, that would be great. I'll be more than happy to give it to them. And what's best with these, I could eat them with rice. I could eat it with quinoa. I could eat it with within a wrap. So yesterday I made quinoa, so I'm gonna show you the process of that. Alright, so what I'm gonna cook here is just quinoa, and I'm gonna throw in some chia seeds in it. Alright, it's very simple, nothing fancy. I'm just sharing with you how I cook for myself. Alright, the kids don't like that kind of cooking, it's okay, but this is how I cook my food. Alright, this is the amount that I put. I think I put 2 of these, 2 scoops of that. Alright, then I roast it. So I did a video on it because the picture will not serve you well. So I roasted for a little, and there's the video. Alright. And while it's roasting, I threw in some chia seed in there. Alright, I roast a little bit of chia seed in there. Alright, just to show you it was being roasted. And then I put some water, there's the water in it, and let it boil. And then I went into picture mode, and that's all of the video for that part. Now with the boiling, there's different ways I could do it. With that 2 scoop, if I want to make it seems like I'm eating a lot, you see that small amount of water that I put, I could quadruple it and let it cook in a very slow cooking manner, and just let it cook until it dry out. All right, the quinoa will be like quadruple. It will seem like it's a lot. All right, so I've done that before, but this is not the way I wanted to eat it. It will be too soft, and I wasn't going for a soft texture. But sometimes when I'm in a diet and I want to make, pretend that I'm eating a lot, that's how I cook it. Put a lot of water in the quinoa, let it slow cook for how long it may be, and then you will see how much quinoa is gonna be on the pot. It will seem like you put so much, but it's not. All right, so this time I only put 2 scoop that I show you, and that was it. And then this is the finished product of it. That was it. All right, that's it. I don't put salt, I don't do any fancy cooking. That was it. All right, so I put this aside once it was done, and I went on to cook my next thing because I wanted it within a wrap. So that was it with that, and I'm gonna show you what I did next. So these are the 2 things I'm gonna be stir fry in the same manner, the cabbage and the mixed vegetable. All right, so I cut up my onions. All right, and then I chop off, this is some leftover cabbage that I had, and I wanted to get rid of it before I start using my brand new one. All right, so I cut this as well. All right, I had some leftovers, so that's the onions and the cabbage right there. All right, so, and this is my seasoning. I'll be using Goya, adobo, and some oregano, and there's pepper. No salt on that one. Okay, I didn't put that much salt because I assuming the Goya and the both Goya, the sazon, and the adobo have salt. All right, so I don't put too much salt on my food, so I use these 2 as my salt intake. All right, and then it is again. All right, adobo, pepper, and sazon. And I'll be using olive oil, and there it is. And this is the wrap right there. You could hardly see it, but the focus was on the olive oil. I was using my phone to take the pictures, by the way, so that's why you don't see good quality. All right, so there's the wrap right there, and I stir fry a little bit of the onions, put all my other stuff in there, the oregano, the pepper, and all of that in there, stir fry it. And even though I'm using olive oil, I don't put too much oil. I don't put too much. You could barely see the oil in there. I just need enough to be able to mix these, the pepper, the onions, and all of that, just enough, and then I'll throw in my vegetables or whatever it is that I'm gonna stir fry. All right, so I put the sazon in there. There it is. And then this time I was doing the cabbage, so I threw in my cabbage, and there it is. And I threw in some extra sazon in there, and there it is. As it started cooking, this is it, and let it cook for a little while. Okay, remember, I don't want it to be too soft, just enough to capture all the whatever seasoning that I put in there. All right, and it was done. All right, there's my container. I put it aside, and I'm gonna throw the cabbage in there. Now the next thing, I'm using the same pot. Okay, as lazy as I am, using the same pot because I don't want it to stay too long, so I didn't need to dirty a whole bunch of pots to make it. All right, so I'm gonna use the same pot to make the mixed vegetable, and I did the same process. All right, with the onions, the peppers, and all of that, stir fry it, and I threw in the mixed vegetable. As you can see, it was in the freezer. All right, and then let it cooking a little bit, and it was done. All right, this one I did it last week. I still have the video, the pictures, so I could show you again. All right, that's the one I had, and I think I share with the squad cooking club. All right, so that's, let me show you anyway. So last week, this is what I made, and I had some leftovers. So since I'm putting this video and I'm discussing it, I might as well show it to you again. So this is some basil my mother-in-law sent me, and I chopped off with some pepper, and there were some onions also that I cut, and I'm gonna cook the sausage. And what I did is that I took 3 pieces out. I didn't need that much, the kids didn't want, so I was just doing it for myself. All right, so I cut it in the long way, and these are the things, the pepper and basil. All right, and this is my seasoning again, the same picture, the seasoning. That's my go-to seasoning, so I don't need to make a whole different thing. Okay, I'll be using olive oil as well. All right, so this is everything that I'm gonna be cooking. There's the onions here. All right, stir fry it. Okay, there's my pot. First, what I did is that I sort of cooked this a little bit first. All right, to get the fat out. All right, and then there it is, it's cooking. Stir fried a little bit, and then I threw in my onion. I took the sausage out. I took the sausage out, threw in my pepper, my onions, and all of that in there within that same sauce, you know, the greasy, the fat, or whatever it may be. All right, and I stir fried a little bit, and then I threw in the sausage back in there. All right, and that was pretty much it. All right, so that was it. I was done with that. That's it. Very simple. Threw in my seasoning and everything, the sazon, adobo, pepper, and it was done. That's it. So with everything cooked, I have the mixed vegetable, the cabbage, and the sausage from last week leftover. So I wanted to make it within a wrap. And I also have the quinoa, and I'm gonna use, last time that I ate it with white rice. So this time I wanted to eat it with quinoa. And I had some leftover ground meat. All right, so I'm gonna use that also to put within the wrap. This is ground meat. As you can see, it's very dry. I might think I don't like to have too much sauce, too much greasy in it. It's very dry. All right, the same way that I cook all the other things, same process, stir fry and everything, except this one's cook a little bit longer because this is meat. All right, so I had this left over, and I'm gonna shove it in with the wrap as well. All right, so I have my wrap ready. Okay, I'm just gonna eat 2. This fills you up really quickly. I was full with 1 wrap only. All right, so that day I was gonna eat only 2, and there's my thing to warm it up, and I warm it up. All right, so after I warm up my wrap, all right, warm it up. First, what I did is that my ground meat, which was a leftover, I needed to warm it up to get it warm. So I put some on a plate. Okay, the reason I use the small plate, you have to realize that sometimes the size of the plate play tricks on you. If you use a huge bowl, most likely you will put a lot. All right, so I use the smallest plate that I have in the house, and then I think this is like maybe 2 scoops of ground meat from the leftover. All right, put my quinoa. All right, the quinoa I put enough so that I could be able to close the wrap. All right, put my quinoa and put my cabbage. Put some cabbage in there. Okay, all this I'm gonna mix all together and then put it in the microwave and warm it up again. All right, and put my mixed vegetable. There's the mixed vegetable, all in that same plate. And the vegetable, I really don't care too much about the vegetable. I could put as much as I want, but I just want to be able to be full. All right, but if it's other kind of things, I pay attention to it. All right, and this is that. All right, warm it up. After I warm it up, all right, I mix it. I didn't take a picture of that. I mix it and then put it within the wrap. All right, there it is. It's able to close, and then that's it. Finish the wrap. And that was my meal yesterday, and that's what I'm probably gonna eat this week. I could have any of them. I may not want it with the wrap. I could have it with rice. I could have it just like this without the wrap, with quinoa and stuff like that. All right, and then I think I threw in the leftover. I didn't took a picture of it with the sausage. The sausage is in there somewhere. All right, it wasn't that much. I think there were like 4 strings of it, and the rest were mostly peppers and all of that. So yeah, that's the way I have it, and I'm good for the rest of the week. And if the kids want, then I'll give it to them. They could have it with rice and eggs and all of that. But this is my meal, so let's put everything together, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Since I started making this video, I thought I'll take it a little bit further. It's not that I know everything, just know that I'm just sharing information that I know, and it is always good to check with your doctor and your nutritionist about anything that I say. I'm just sharing some of the things that I know and do more research on it. Alright? Since I've been showing you how I eat cabbage raw and cook, let me share some of its benefits. Cabbage is loaded with tons of nutrients. It is very high in vitamin C and K. So according to healthline.com, the link is in the description, by the way, 1 cup, 89 grams of raw green cabbage contain 22 calories, 1 gram of protein, 2 grams of fiber, 85% of vitamin K, which is recommended dietary intake, 54% of vitamin C, 10% of folate, 7% of magnesium, 6% of vitamin B6, and 4% calcium, 4% potassium, and 3% magnesium. Again, feel free to check the description for more information. There's 9 benefits of eating cabbage. It may help inflammation, okay, It packed with vitamin C, like I said. It help improve digestion. It may help keep your heart healthy. It may lower your blood pressure, and it could help lower your cholesterol level. Cabbage is an excellent source of vitamin K, which I mentioned also. It is very easy to add to your diet. You can eat it raw, like I showed you how I've been eating it. You could check my Instagram. I've shown you, and I've shown you how I cook it. Okay, and you could add it in many different ways. So your imagination on how you could eat it is endless. I even showed you I put it in ramen noodles. Alright, depending on how I feel, because I love to have a lot of vegetables in my soup, so I've added in ramen noodles. Okay, so it's up to you how you can eat it. And another thing that I've showed you in this video is that I share with you how I eat quinoa, and the cooking is very simple. I roast it and then cook it similar to rice, plain and simple. That's it, with water, and that's it. All right, so I don't eat quinoa every day, so I prefer eating quinoa than white rice. As always, like I said, please note that I am in no shape or form a health professional. Please consult with your doctor, nutritionist, with anything that you may have. Always research anything that I may say. Okay, I'm sharing this information with you because this is what I do for myself. All right, with that being said, let's continue. Quinoa is like a seed. It is more beneficial to eat it than white rice, from my experience, because there were a time where I was in a very strict diet, because I put myself in that diet. All right, and I realized that when I eat more than 3 ounces of white rice, I gain weight very quickly. So unlike white rice, I can eat quinoa and not gain that much weight. All right, so I prefer quinoa than white rice. And I've also, I manage how I eat it, and I mentioned earlier in the video how I can cook it to make it look like I'm eating a lot. All right, just to fool my eyes in a way. All right, so according to health.com, 1 cup, 185 grams of cooked quinoa contain 222 calories. All right, when you add, okay, it contains 4.4 grams and 21.3 grams of carbs, 0.9 grams of sugar, 2.8 grams of fiber, and 1.9 grams of fat. Alright, so check the description for the links, and I hope it helps. Alright, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. Thanks.